লীলামৃতসার তার শত শত ধার রসদিক বহে যাহা হইতে সে চৈতন্য লীলা হয় সরোবরক্ষয় মনহং সচরাহতাতে। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. So, we are in chapter 7 Adi Lila, Lord Chaitanya in 5 features. In the last class, we were discussing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he chants, he experienced, when he chanted the holy name of the Lord, he experienced ecstasy. Sometimes he would cry, sometimes he would laugh, sometimes he would call out the name of Krishna. And this kind of transformation in his behavior was making him doubtful what is going on. So he went to his spiritual master, and then his spiritual master, after listening to him about his condition, that sometimes he dances, he laughs, he cries. So the spiritual master smiled and started to respond to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this experience is being revealed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the sannyasis in Varanasi. So here we came to discuss that anyone who chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they are automatically uh, transported to the loving ecstasy and the platform of loving ecstasy. And at that point, when one attains the love of Krishna, which is called the Pancham Purushartha, at that time, this Dharma, Artha, Kam, even Moksha, they are not uh, accepted by such a devotee. Like as we said, Kapil Dev, he says, Salukya Sasti Samipya Salukya Kattomarpito Diomanam Nagrinanti Vinamat Sevanam Jana. When a devotee does not get service at the lotus feet of Krishna, even these liberations, what to speak of Sadhujya Mukti, even other 4 type of liberations are not even accepted by a devotee, because by serving Krishna, a devotee, he attains highest form of happiness. So therefore, the Guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as he continued, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in text number 86, Krishna namer phala prema sarva shastre koi bhagya se prema toma karila uday. So Guru told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna namer phal prema. That means the result of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is eh, Prema, Krishna Prema. And that is the proof found in all the scriptures. Bhagya se Prematumar Karilauda. You are very fortunate. Uh, you have already attained that platform. So you have attained to the platform of Prema. প্রেমার স্বভাবে করে চিত্ততনুখো কৃষ্ণের চরণ প্রাপ্তি উপজায় লোক. So he's saying that it is a characteristic of love of Godhead that by nature it induces transcendental symptoms in one's body and makes one more and more greedy to achieve the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Prema Swabha, that means the nature of ecstatic love for Krishna is that Chitta Tanu Khov. Uh, Chitta means there is the mind, a consciousness. Tanu means body. There will be different symptoms seen in the consciousness and the body of a devotee who have already attained the love of Godhead, Krishna Prema. Therefore, the Guru is saying to Mahaprabhu that the agitation you experience in your consciousness and body is due to having attained Krishna Prema. And Krishna's Charanapratya Upajay Love. When one has attained to the platform of Prema, it will induce him to get more and more attracted to serve Krishna. And as one serves Krishna, his desire to serve Krishna even increases. Upajaya love. He becomes more and more greedy to serve Krishna. প্রেমার স্বভাবে ভক্ত হাসে কাঁদে গায় উন্মত্ত হইয়া নাচে ইতিধায় স্বেদকম্প রোমাঞ্চস্সু গদ্গদ বৈবর্ণ্য উন্মাদ বিষাদ ধৈর্য গর্ব হর্ষদন্য. So, in the previous verse, it is said that chitta tanu khov, the agitation of body and consciousness is sin. And this is the proof, text number 88. This is the external symptom of a person who, having attained love of Godhead, is experiencing the agitation in his body and consciousness. Premar Swabhav Bhakta Hase Kande Gai. When one actually develops love of Godhead, he naturally sometimes cries, sometimes laughs, sometimes chants, and sometimes run here and there, just like a madman. Purport. In this connection, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami says that sometimes persons who have no love of Godhead at all display ecstatic bodily symptoms. Artificially, they sometimes laugh, cry, and dance just like madmen. But this cannot help one progress in Krishna consciousness. Rather, such artificial agitation of the body is to be given up when one naturally develops the necessary bodily symptoms. Actual blissful life manifested in genuine spiritual laughing, crying, and dancing is a symptom of real advancement in Krishna consciousness, which can be achieved by a person who always voluntarily engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. If one who is not yet developed imitates such symptoms, artificially he creates chaos in the spiritual life of human society. So, Prabhupada is giving a very important purport. Sometimes we see some so-called spiritual practitioners make a show of such ecstatic symptoms. That's an artificial display of their caricature, you can say. So that actually creates a chaos in the spiritual life of human society, because there are so many intelligent people just by seeing such kind of manufactured behavior presented by so-called spiritualists, people can immediately recognize here is a cheater. So in that way, they will not have faith on the practice of Krishna consciousness. So therefore, it creates a chaos. And another point Prabhupada makes in the purport is that those who are advanced, who really experience such kind of ecstatic symptoms, they don't make it as a public show. Rather, they control it and they release this kind of mood from within. That's called. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita also we have heard Bahya Antar Yaha Duita Sadhan means there is inner sadhan and outer sadhan. Even the one who attained to the platform of Raganuga Bhakti, understanding his Swarupa, he will be cultivating the mood from within, and externally he will be following all the regulative principles of Bhakti. So therefore, it is not the ecstasy is not a point of display in the public. Hmm? But sometimes some devotee they actually show the symptoms. That's why it is there are sattvika bhava and bevichari bhava. The sattvika bhava is first line. It is said Sweda Kampo Romanchasu Gadgada Vaivarnya. Then the second line Unmada Visadharya Garbo Harsha Dainya is called Bevichari bhava. Perspiration. Hmm? Oh, there's another verse also. Eto bhave prema bhakto ganere nachai Krishner anandam rito sagare bhasai. Perspiration, trembling, standing on end of one's bodily hairs, tears, faltering voice, fading complexion, madness, melancholy, patience, pride, joy, and humility. These are various natural symptoms of ecstatic love of Godhead, which causes a devotee to dance and float in an ocean of transcendental bliss while chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Srila Prabhupada, he translates Jiva Goswami's Priti Sandarbha, that is the 66 Anuched, writes, transcendental love of Godhead is not under the jurisdiction of the material energy. That means those who are still in the conditioned state of existence, they cannot experience this love of Godhead. It's very clear. For it is the transcendental bliss and pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's an act of Swarupa Shakti, not Vahiranga Shakti. Since the Supreme Lord is also under the influence of transcendental bliss, when one comes in touch with such bliss, in love of Godhead, one's heart melts, and the symptoms of this are standing of the hairs on end, etc. Sometimes a person thus melts and manifests these transcendental symptoms, yet at the same time is not well behaved in his personal transactions. This indicates that he has not yet reached complete perfection in devotional life. Sometimes by reading or by hearing from a sadhu, people try to imitate such kind of behaviors. Therefore, Prabhupada is making it very clear that even if sometimes we see some people, they are manifesting such kind of symptoms, but immediately after they, finish with their display, you can say they are engaged with the material affairs. That means such people should not be taken seriously. They are actually cheaters. So therefore, Prabhupada is saying that this indicates that he has not yet reached complete perfection in devotional life. In other words, a devotee who dances in ecstasy, but after dancing and crying appears to be attracted to material affairs, has not yet reached the perfection of devotional service, which is called asaya suddhi or perfection of existence. One who attains the perfection of existence is completely averse to material enjoyment and engrossed in transcendental love of Godhead. It is therefore to be concluded that the ecstatic symptoms of asaya suddhi are visible when a devotee services no material cause and is purely spiritual in nature. These are characteristics of transcendental love of Godhead, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, text number 6. Savai pumsam paro dharma yato bhakti radhakshaje ahetukya pratihata jayatma suprasidati. That religion is best which causes its follower to become ecstatic in love of God, that is, unmotivated and free from material impediments. For this alone can completely satisfy the self. Whether we chant, we speak on the pastime of the Supreme Lord, the ecstasy will take place when these sadhanas are executed without any personal motives, purely for the service of Krishna. A devotee is engaged in these devotional services. So his guru continues. He says, "Bhalo hoilo paile tumi parama purushartha tomar premete ami hoilao kritartha." So because Guru has given mantra to the disciple, and after chanting the mantra properly, disciple has attained the perfection. That is how the Guru feels he is obliged to his disciple. Uh, Kritartha. Uh, because you have chanted this mantra and you have come to the platform of love of Godhead, therefore I feel I am very much obliged to you. So he is saying to Mahaprabhu, it is very good, my dear child, that you have attained the supreme goal of life by developing love of Godhead. Thus, you have pleased me very much, and I am very much obliged to you. According to the revealed scriptures, if a spiritual master can convert even one soul into a perfectly pure devotee, his mission in life is fulfilled. Then Prabhupada quotes Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who actually spoke that if he can use all these establishments, like temple facility, whatever he has created, to make only one person a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, then he would consider his mission would be successful. Uh, right? Just imagine, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he established 64 Gaudiya Maths, so many facilities. And he's saying, if by using all these facilities, I can make I can convert even one person into a pure devotee, my mission would be fulfilled. It is very difficult, however, to understand the science of Krishna, but to speak of developing love of Godhead. Therefore, if by the grace of Lord Chaitanya and the spiritual master, a disciple attains the standard of pure devotional service, the spiritual master is very happy. The spiritual master is not actually happy if the disciple brings him money. But when he sees that a disciple is following the regulative principles and advancing in spiritual life, he is very glad and feels obliged to such a such an advanced disciple. No amount of material opulence can bring happiness to a pure devotee of the Lord. Therefore, a guru, when he sees his disciples are practicing pure Krishna consciousness, and there is a change happening in their personal behavior in their life, they are getting more and more attracted to Krishna. uh, Guru becomes very pleased. But how Guru will know that you are becoming more and more attached to Krishna, you are being purified? That will reflect in your behavior, in your consciousness. The type of question you would ask will be different. The way you will behave will also give the message to the spiritual master. So that is how we don't have to uh, pretend. We have to behave as it is. That means the instruction we have received from spiritual master, how to chant mantra, how to execute our Krishna conscious practices. If we sincerely follow, then Guru blessing will be there. When we get blessings of Guru, Mahaprabhu blessing also will automatically be received, and then gradually disciple will grow. This is the standard of devotional service. नाचो गाओ भक्त संगे कर संकीर्तन कृष्ण नाम उपदेशी तारो सर्वजन. This is how when a guru, a bona fide spiritual master, he sees success in his disciple. At that time, he instructs the disciple to preach. My dear child, continue dancing, chanting, and performing Sankirtan in association with devotees. Furthermore, go out and preach the value of chanting Krishna Nam, for by this process you will be able to deliver all fallen souls. Because we are alive, that's why we should preach. But again, we should know preaching is not under our control. We can't preach Krishna consciousness unless we are favored by Guru and Krishna. Prabhupada is saying, it is another ambition of the spiritual master to see his disciples not only chant, dance, and follow the regulative principles, but also preach the Sankirtan movement to others in order to deliver them. For the Krishna consciousness movement is based on the principle that one should become as perfect as possible in devotional service oneself and also preach the cult for others' benefit. Preaching is not collecting disciple for the guru. Preaching means trying to help people, help devotees to become a better practitioner of Krishna consciousness. Then Prabhupada comments about there are two types of classes of unalloyed devotees, Bhajananandi and Goshthianandi. Bhajananandis are those who are just satisfied in themselves by practicing pure Krishna consciousness. And Goshthianandis is one who is not satisfied simply to become perfect himself, but wants to see others also take advantage of the holy name of the Lord and advance in spiritual life. Sometimes these Goshthianandi and Bhajananandi terms are misinterpreted by the devotees. Some say Goshtianandis are better than Bhajananandis because the Bhajananandis they are not doing anything, they are just selfish. But Goshtianandis they are actually helping others, they are helping other devotees advance in their Krishna consciousness. That's why they are superior. Well, philosophically, this is correct, but at the same time, a devotee should never find fault with Bhajananandi who has found taste in chanting or other activities of Krishna consciousness, and he is sincerely executing his devotional service. Of course, to preach Krishna consciousness, we require more blessing. We can say more empowerment, and there's more risks also, right? Because a preacher has to move around in the public. Sometimes he will eat, sometimes he will be spending time with them. There is more threat, and therefore a preacher has to be more serious, conscious about practicing rules and regulations. Even then, Prabhupada says that even if we preach, not that all people going to take interest in the chanting. And this is a fact we see even during the time of Prahlad Maharaj. Also, people didn't take interest in chanting. So it's a, it's a hard task. Uh, so Prabhupada quotes Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains in his Anubhashya, a person who has attracted the attention of the spiritual master by his service, by his sincere service, likes to dance and chant with similarly developed Krishna conscious devotees. The spiritual master authorizes such a devotee to deliver fallen souls in all parts of the world. Those who are not advanced prefer to chant the Hare Krishna mantra in a solitary place. Such activities uh, constitute, in the language of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, a type of cheating process in the sense that they imitate the activities of exalted personalities like Haridas Thakur. One should not attempt to imitate such exalted devotees. Rather, everyone should endeavor to preach the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in all parts of the world and thus become successful in spiritual life. One who is not very expert in preaching may chant in a secluded place, avoiding bad association. But for one who is actually advanced, preaching and meeting people who are not engaged in devotional service are not disadvantages. A devotee gives the non devotees his association, but is not affected by their misbehavior. Thus, by the activities of a pure devotee, even those who are bereft of love of Godhead get a chance to become devotees of Lord Krishna, of the Lord one day. In these connections, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur advises that one discusses the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam beginning, Naitat Samacharajatu Manasapi Yanishwara. And the following verse in Bhakti Samja Sindhu. Anasaktasya Vishayan Jatharam Upajanjata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyamuchyate. One should not imitate the activities of great personalities. One should be detached from material enjoyment and should accept everything in connection with Krishna's service. यत বলি এক শ্লোক শিখাইল মরে ভাগবতের সারে বলে বারে বারে. Saying this, my spiritual master taught me a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the essence of all the Bhagavatam's instructions. Therefore, he recited this verse again and again. Evam ratasva priyanama kirtya jata nurago dritachut तमुच्चैः हसत्यथोरोदतिरौति गायति उन्मादवत् नृत्यति लोकबाह्यः. When a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, cries, becomes agitated, and chants just like a madman, not caring for outsiders. You can see in this verse the symptom of a devotee who has attained the platform of Prema is described. Evam brata swapriyanama kirtya. Evam brata. What you know? Evam brata means previous to this verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that brata means vow. Evam brata means a devotee is asked by the spiritual master to chant Krishna's holy name and to decorate the form of the Lord uh, and glorify his qualities and also meditate on his pastimes. So while focusing on chanting and glorifying the name, fame, qualities of the Lord, this is what Evam Brata. This has become a Brata, this is a vow. That means a devotee, after receiving clear-cut instructions from his spiritual master, how he should execute his Krishna conscious practices, wherever he goes, his brata, his vow is not broken. For example, if a devotee has developed this, he has taken this vow of reading from songs of Vaishnavacharya every evening, for example. Uh, Songs of Gaudiya Vaishnavacharya actually brings the devotee to the meditation platform where he concentrates on different qualities of the Lord. Sometimes it helps the devotee to fix his mind on the form of the Lord. Like this, there are many different uh, songs which help the devotee to fix his attention unto Krishna. So in that way, he decides, okay, every evening I will chant these songs of Vaishnavacharyas. Then what happens? Wherever he goes, he will continue this sadhana practice. That is called Evam Brata. And Swapriyanama Kirtya. Swapriyanam has got two different meanings. Means Swa means his own. Priya means which is very dear to him. What? Means the Lord who is very dear to him, his name. Or Swa Priyanam means the name of the Lord which is very dear to the devotee. He chants. Okay? One is the Lord who is dear to him, he chants his name. Or the name which is dear to him, he chants that name. Evam brata swapriyanamapitya jatanuraga. While executing devotion service in this consciousness, he develops anurag. Here, anurag means love of God, prema. Jata anuraga. He becomes attached. And drita chitta. His heart melts. His heart melts. We have seen people melting gold by lighting fire. Here, when the fire of Krishna consciousness is awakened, is lit by the process of chanting, glorifying, and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this fire will melt the heart of a Vaishnava. That's what it says, the Jata Anurag. that melting of heart will take place on the level of Prema Bhakti, and Uchchai Hasatya Thoro Dati Rauti Gayati. With high voice, sometimes he cries, uh, and sometimes he actually he makes more, louder sound. Sometimes he laughs. Sometimes he dances. Uh, Lokavaya, without caring for outsiders. That means when a devotee attains the stage of Prema Bhakti, whether people glorify him or condemn him, he doesn't bother about it. He is engaged in his service. That's why it is said, Unmadavat. You see, Unmadavat Nityati. He dances, he smiles, he speaks, he shouts, just like a madman. It's not saying that madman, Unmadavat, just like a madman. There is a difference between a madman and a person who has attained the love of Godhead. Uh, the difference is a madman has got no connection of his consciousness. His consciousness connection is broken. Whereas a devotee who has attained the love of Godhead, the Prema, his consciousness is firmly fixed on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is how sometimes he makes loud voice, "Oh, where are you? When are you going to give me your darshan?" Maybe he was meditating on the Supreme Lord and he could see the Lord. Then immediately Lord disappears from his meditation. He starts to cry and he calls him in different names by different names. So that is the difference. Unmada, but he is not a Unmada, but externally speaking, a madman, the behavior of a madman and the person who has attained the love of God are externally the same. But there is a gap of difference in their connection of the consciousness with the Supreme. Hmm? Uh, so, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami continues. एतार वाक्यामी दृढ़ विश्वास धरी निरंतर कृष्ण नाम संकीर्तन करी श्री कृष्ण नाम कबू गाओ जाय नचाय गाही नाची नहीं आमी अपन इच्छाय. So, eitar vakyami dృఢ vishwas kari. Mahaprabhu is saying this because he was speaking to the sannyasis. He said, these, Guru's words started from text number 83 and it concluded in text number 92. So, eitar vakya means this was the words of my spiritual masters, and Dృఢ Vishwas Kari, Dhari. I firmly believe in his words. Therefore, Nirantar Krishna Nam Sankirtan Kari. Always I am engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Sei Krishna Nam Kabhu Gawai Nachai. Gahi Nachi Nahi Ami Apano Ichchai. This is the difference. He is saying, as I chant, the holy name makes me dance. Not that I am dancing or singing according to my desire. I firmly believe in the words of my spiritual master, and therefore I always chant the holy name of the Lord alone and in the association of devotees. That holy name of Lord Krishna sometimes causes me to chant and dance, and therefore I chant and dance. Please Do not think that I intentionally do it. I do it automatically. Huh? That's a nice explanation, right? Of course, we are sadhakas, will not be able to understand this. But this is a very nice point that he is not doing anything on his own. Krishna Nam is doing everything. Hmm. Prabhupada, I'm reading the second paragraph, it's a big purport. It is to be understood that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted and danced, he did so by the influence of the pleasure potency of the spiritual world. Shastra says, when one enters to the platform of Shuddha Sattva, that time this ecstasy takes place. Huh? Therefore, Prabhupada was saying, he did so by the influence of the spiritual potency of the spiritual world, Ladini Shakti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never considered the holy name of the Lord to be a material vibration, nor does any pure devotee mistake the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra to be a material musical manifestation. Lord Chaitanya never tried to be the master of the holy name. Rather, he taught us how to be servants of the holy name. If one chants the holy name of the Lord just to make a show, not knowing the secret of success, he may increase his vile secretion. But he will never attain perfection in chanting the holy name. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented himself in this way. I am a great fool and do not have knowledge of right and wrong. In order to understand the real meaning of the Vedanta Sutra, I never followed the explanation of the Shankara Sampradaya or Mayavadi sannyasis. I am very much afraid of the illogical arguments of the Mayavadi philosophers. Therefore, I think I have no authority regarding their explanations of the Vedanta Sutra. See, Prakashananda Saraswati said, "You dance and you don't associate with us. You are just dancing with, associating with these sentimentalists. Why you don't read Vedanta? Why you don't meditate?" Huh? She was asking, now accusing. Now Mahaprabhu is saying, your philosophy, I don't read. Huh? Mayavad's explanation. Uh, Mayavad philosophers. Therefore, I think I have no authority regarding their explanation of the Vedanta Sutra. I firmly believe that simply chanting the holy name of the Lord can remove all misconceptions of the material world. This is a message for us. Bahu Shastra Kalabhyas Bharjan. Right? In Bhakti Samtra Sindhu, he said, we don't have to read many scriptures. By chanting the holy name, Lord Chaitanya continued, I became almost mad. However, after inquiring from my spiritual master, I have come to the conclusion that instead of striving for achievement in the four principles of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, it is better if somehow or other one develops transcendental love of Godhead. That is the greatest success in life. One who has attained love of Godhead chants and dances by his nature, not caring for the public. This stage of life is known as Bhagavata Jivana, or the life of a devotee. Hmm? This is the life of a devotee. Then he explains Krishna Name Jayananda Sindhu Aswadon Brahmananda Tarage Khato Dakasam Tat Sakshat Karanallada Visudhabdi Sitasya Me Sukhani Gospodayante Brahmanyopi Jagadguru Krishna में जे आनंद सिंधु आस्वादन. By chanting holy name of the Lord, one experiences the bliss which is compared with the ocean. How much water is there in the ocean? Has any scientist made any calculation how many liters of water is there in the ocean? No, right? There is no calculation been made. Asim, endless, unlimited. So Krishna में जे आनंद सिंधु आस्वादन. Compared to the ocean of transcendental bliss that one tastes by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the pleasure derived from impersonal Brahman realization is like the shallow water in a canal. As it says, Gospod. Gospod means water contains in a cow's footprint. If you compare the water that contained in the cow's footprint to the water in the vast body of ocean, there is no comparison at all actually, right? Similarly, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, the amount of variegated pleasure, the personal experience a devotee experiences, that cannot be compared in any way to the happiness attained by the impersonal Brahman realization. Therefore, he's saying that Tat Sakshat Karnalada Visuddhabdi Sthitasya Me. That's Visuddhabdi. My dear Lord, O Master of the universe, since I have directly seen you, my transcendental bliss has taken the shape of a great ocean. Being situated in that ocean, I now realize all other so-called happiness to be like the water contained in the footprint of a calf. Hari Krishna. Then, প্রভুর মিষ্ট বাক্য শুনে সন্ন্যাসীরগণ চিত্ত ফিরি গেল কহে মধুর বচন. After hearing Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the Mayavadi sannyasis were moved. Their minds changed, and thus they spoke with pleasing words. Very important point. You all are preachers, right? How you preach, you see? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he preached to the Mayavadis, and they are moved by Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada says, actually, the Mayavadi sannyasi, they criticize the Sankirtan movement. Even he said, now also there are so many other organizations that criticize Sankirtan. He gives the example of Prahlad Maharaj and his father. Prahlad Maharaj appreciated, but his father didn't. Impersonalist Mayavadis always try to defy Vaishnavas because Vaishnavas accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the supreme cause and want to serve Him, talk with Him, and see Him, just as the Lord is always eager to see His devotees and talk, eat, and dance with them. These personal exchanges of love do not appeal to the Mayavadi sannyasis. Therefore, The original purpose of the Mayavadi sannyasis of Benares is meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was to defeat his personal conception of God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, as a preacher, turned the minds of the Mayavadi sannyasis. They were melted by the sweet words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and thus became friendly and spoke to him also in sweet words. Similarly, all preachers will have to meet opponents, but they should not make them more inimical. They are already enemies. And if we talk with them harshly or impolitely, their enmity will merely increase. We should therefore follow in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as far as possible and try to convince the opposition by quoting from the Shastras and presenting the conclusion of the Acharyas. It is in this way that we should try to defeat all the enemies of the Lord. Very important point. Technique for the preachers to preach, how to preach, right? If we do not know how to present Krishna conscious philosophy properly, then it will just create enmity. Therefore, Prabhupada is saying, you have to be very careful. We should not become harsh. Uh, we shouldn't become impolite while dealing with this kind of people. Uh, that will ruin everything. That's why preaching is very sensitive matter. Recently, we have been hearing, right? Some devotees they were criticizing some other spiritual leaders in the other spiritual organizations, and they didn't like it. Who likes to hear their criticism, right? Nobody likes to be criticized, whether karmi or jnani, whatever you say. Therefore, it is not a business of a devotee. Devotee should be polite, sweet. Words should be sweet. uh. So, okay, one more. যে কিছু কহিলে তুমি সব সত্য হয় কৃষ্ণ প্রেমা সেই পায় যার ভাগ্যোদয়. Uh, After listening to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then the sannyasis, they became very happy. Now they are speaking. যে কিছু কহিলে তুমি সব সত্য হয়. Oh, Chaitanya, whatever you have said are all true. Huh? Krishna Prema sei pai jar bhagyodaya. It's not that anybody can get Krishna Prema. Those who are fortunate can attain to the platform of love of Godhead. Purport. One who is actually very fortunate can begin Krishna consciousness as stated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Srila Rupa Goswami. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. There are millions of living entities who have become conditioned by the laws of material nature, and they are wandering throughout the planetary systems of this universe in different bodily forms. Among them, one who is fortunate to meet a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna and comes to understand the meaning of devotional service. By discharging devotional service under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master or acharya, he develops love of Godhead. One whose love of Godhead, Krishna Prema, is awakened and who thus becomes a devotee of the inconceivable Supreme Personality of Godhead is to be considered extremely fortunate. The Mayavadi sannyasis admitted that this fact to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. it is not easy for one to become a Krishna conscious person, but by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it can be possible, as will be proven in the course of this narration. So that means a preacher should always remain dependent on the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then when he receives Mahaprabhu's blessing, he can continue his service very smooth without any disturbance. Okay. Any question or comment, dear devotees? Realization, you have anything to share with us?
Hare Krishna. This is more of ecstasy and transcendental mode, so I don't think it's relevant to me. Maybe other devotees can ask.
Okay, just enjoy your Krishna consciousness. We'll continue from text number 101.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, Prabhu, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you for a very nectaring verse. So Prabhu, we just read here how it's instructed that we should use sweet words even when preaching to opposition, etc. How do we read Prabhupada's ferocity sometimes and Prabhupada's sternness in preaching? Because he was quite ferocious at times when he needed to be, when preaching and when challenged, but could be quite fiery. So how do we know when to use fire compared to butter?
No, actually, main thing is we should not imitate. Now, what happens? Many times, our devotees, they just say, oh, Prabhupada spoke like this. I can also speak like this. That is just mere imitation. If we are imitating him, that will not help. But as you said, now when to become fire or butter, as you're saying, this is actually not under our control. This is a qualification. Preaching activity is a qualification. One who is qualified, he can preach. And this qualification is given to the devotee. So one point to take note on in this connection is that a devotee should be very sincere in pursuing Krishna consciousness. While reading Prabhupada's books, while executing his devotional activities, he should be thoroughly honest. Then what will happen? Even if he commits some mistakes, because his heart is pure, sincere, Krishna will guide him. He will he'll become better next time. Nobody can become perfect from the day one. Everybody makes mistakes, right? Where is human? Dham, pramad, viplipsa, karna, pata. Those souls are not seen in the Lord. But conditioned souls, they have these faults. So Brahma, they're illusion actually. So how much you try? Therefore, what we have to do is always stay in the good company of the devotees. Always practice Krishna consciousness under senior devotees' guidance. Learn the philosophy from the bona fide source. Then reflect on the philosophy to become a real practitioner of the philosophy. And then when you go out and preach, automatically Krishna will inspire you from within. But some technique can also be helpful, just like when you are in the midst of atheists, don't become fire. Neither become butter also. You just try to see whether you are able to communicate the message to them or not, or you just leave that place. Sometimes leaving the place is also helpful. Then just having a false ego, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can face them. No, these people are very cunning. Or sometimes if you are in a friendly association, these people are good. Yeah, don't be harsh, little bit, be soft to them, in a sweet way, try to convince them. So this technique cannot be explained, I would say like that. It is, and the qualification is avoided by the Lord to the devotee. This is how I see it.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, so there is no more question today. So we can conclude here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.